I can't even lie. This is going to be one of my favorite wins of the season, despite what a horrible game we played. This team has
heart.
Take note.
Big Beach. We're here.
My man, Alex.
It's different this time.
What's up, guys?
the Knicks come back. I cannot believe it. Though I kind of did. Because we've been doing this all season. But we had no business being in this game. We shot horribly from the field. We were down big. It looked like it wasn't happening. They were playing better than us, everything. And we end up winning 106-102. Big fourth quarter comeback. How are you feeling?
This shows you. So the funny thing is, even when we were down 17 points, normally I would be like, oh, game is over. I'm going to watch something else on TV, when I wasn't really following the Knicks, right? But when I saw them down that many points, I didn't feel any way. I was like, they can still come back. I think I even texted you at some point. I was like, oh, they can definitely still come back from this. Yeah. And I think this definitely shows, even though they had a horrible first half, and even though all the things you said were true, like they just didn't really play well. I mean, they still kind of stayed in the game. You still kind of felt, well, they could come back a little bit. They were not scoring. They went from completely not scoring threes to scoring threes. They went from like not making their free throws to making their free throws. And what I think this shows is this is how this team has developed. I felt comfortable. I felt like, no, they definitely still have an opportunity to come back. And they showed us that they can do that. And you know what I love the most, by the way? Randle is clearly a little bit injured, right? He was off to the side there on the bike. I love that the rest of the team, Alec Burks, who we're going to talk about, were the ones that actually brought us back up to within a 2-point game, and that we did not have to depend on Randle and make him run around rugged, to get us back there. So I'm so glad to see the rest of the team stepping up and bringing us within back to a winning stance, I guess, at some point. And then for us to pull off this win, this is fantastic. But I expected it.
Listen, I mean, that's good. It's good you can expect that, right? I did expect it, but I got worried. I'm dropping things. I expected it, but I got worried in the third quarter because I was expecting halftime would be the turnaround. Now, we came out in the third quarter, and though we ended up at the end making a dent, we did not come out good in the third quarter, really. And It kind of stayed as this 15, 16-point lead. So I kind of started feeling, oh, God, is this one of those nights? There's a lot of talk of the build-up to the trade deadline, everyone kind of playing a bit tight because you don't know if you're getting traded. Mm-hmm. And tonight, I felt like everyone was so too relaxed. Like, I didn't get traded. I know I'm going to be. And we just came out with this bad energy. I will say, it's really hard to beat an NBA team twice in a short period of time. It's a common thing in the NBA.
So they always talk about it, right? Because clearly the team obviously, first of all, they blew them out on Tuesday, right? So the Wizards are already coming in tonight like, nah, you ain't clowning us like that again, right? And then obviously the team has time to study them. Right, so now they've watched their moves. They know who to mark. They know what you're going to play. So you could clearly see that in the first half of the game that the Wizards had their card. They knew what to do, and that's why they were able to, have such an advantage on us in that first half.
Yeah, Scott Brooks spoke about it. He said that they knew they needed to be more physical and aggressive. I think we're one of the most physical and aggressive teams in the league. So I think a lot of teams during the regular season, they're not really expecting that every night. So they hit us, and it's like a punch in the face. So the Wizards came back tonight and punched back. They came out strong. We were getting out hustled, bad effort. They were killing us. But I knew, and we've seen, like you said, the confidence you felt in this team. We've seen it all season. A week ago, a little bit longer than that. We were out of it. People forget we were out of it for a lot of that game, right? The third quarter, we fought back. It ends up coming down to the last possession. So this is an important win. We're playing a lot of good teams. We have to win these games, so that's great to see. I know we're going to talk about Burke, so I'm definitely excited to talk about. But I got to talk about RJ.
Yes.
If he did not shoot well tonight, 7 for 20-something. He struggled. Bad first half. But this was one of my favorite RJ Barrett games because he made that bucket in the third quarter, and he screamed. And RJ doesn't really show emotion.
I was going to say that. Yes. He said, "Let's go." He was like, "Let's go." Listen, that Jamaican toughness is coming out of him. I tell you, I'm starting to. So I always used to joke about RJ, like he could be the poker. He has that poker face, right? He have a deadpan. You can't tell any expression. but he is starting to show his expressions, especially when he's angry and he's upset and that's the kind of energy you need, right? You know how you have you want to be mad. It's like you want to be mad so that you could like rally everyone else up. So I definitely felt that from him, and I think some of that is also spilt over from him not getting chosen for the All-Star team.
For the rookie team, yeah.
For the rookie team, right? Not for the All-Star team. For the All, you know what I meant? The All-Star. You know I don't know all my shit.
You're gonna get there, Mom.
But you know what I meant. He didn't get chosen to play. And so he has a little chip on his shoulder. He's been saying that, right? So this was nice to see him come up with that kind of energy. And the team needs that grit and that grind, and they came out and they did it. Man,
listen, you hit it on the head. And with Randle out, I was even more impressed. RJ straight up put on as a leader tonight. I felt like RJ was dragging us through this game. He was like, no, we're not losing these little games. We can't lose these games. And like I said, this reminded me of games Kobe's had, where Kobe struggled. He's not hit his shots, but then he's been able to turn it on and fight and push through. Yeah. So Rowan, he had that play, but he was so strong after he pushed off Beal and then held up the bar. I was screaming. I was like, Rowan, you monster! Get up.
And when they pushed him down too, because he was taking some hits. He was taking some hits tonight. His body. I was like, oh, like his body was taking a bruising.
Yeah, RJ's always taking hits. I want to talk about Randle last. Let's talk about Burks. I tweeted it out. I talk about it every episode. He feels like you were baking a superstar and you took it out the oven too early. So you get some of the superstar stuff, but not everything you need. It's a little bit raw. It's a little bit undercooked. I said 70%, 73% of a superstar. And he's coming out. He is looking so good right now. And I don't know where we'd be without him.
The timing of his shots also are so important for us because it's always bringing us up right when we need it. And again, you know, we spoke about him being what kind of player do we speak about him being?
like the sixth man, you mean?
Yeah, I guess kind of like the sixth man, but just being that guy that like we don't always expect this from him, but we know he can do it.
Yeah, well, to be honest, now he's averaging 20 points a game his last 5 games. He's playing
so now we are always expecting this from him then.
Listen, if Alec Burks, listen, he's been in the league a long time. He's a consistent guy. He's not really a 20-point per game guy. But if, he can just give us for the rest of the season over 15 points per game, I think we really do underrate how much missing Derrick Rose is hurting us. We have the worst point guard situation in the league, really, I think, especially starting point guards. So losing someone like Rose, who at least brings our regular level up so much for this period of time and still winning games, that's a really big deal. Guys like Burks have been stepping up. Bullock has been stepping up. Frank is my guy, but he's not giving us enough when he starts. And even Reggie, this is the thing. Even though Frank has been hitting his 3 this year, when Reggie's playing, he's getting open more. He's hitting more 3s. And we miss Bullock tonight. But Burks, up. You love to see it. Julius Randle, probably his worst game of the season or close to it. But, and it gives another Kobe thing. Randle didn't have a good game, injured, banged up, blah, blah, blah. Comes back in the 4th quarter when we needed 2 buckets. We always talk about needing a closer. Goes to his patented move now, the fadeaway on the baseline, hits it twice and ices the game. Yep. This is what Kobe used to do too. Kobe would have a game where he shot like 6 for 24, but it was the last minute of the game. He got the ball twice, he hit 2 shots, and it didn't matter. Yep. So I'm just loving, like, even in a game like this where Randle wasn't good, he still showed you how different he is, how much better he is.
Yes.
I love this guy.
and still shows his value. Because so even though, he was having like and you know what? This is going to happen. He is going to have games where he's not scoring. And the rest of the team has to be able to pull up. Because like I said, if he gets injured and he's there icing his leg and I'm like, if he gets injured, the team can't just fall apart because of it. And they can't think that way. And to me, they're not thinking that way. So the fact that, like, I know I already mentioned it, but the fact that he was out and that's when they were able to bring that score up, to me, speaks volumes. And also, he is the leader. And is he officially the captain of the team as well?
Actually, I can't remember. He must be. Yeah, I guess. I can't remember them. Yeah, he is.
I feel like he is officially the captain of the team. And so he's showing that even with his presence, because he's obviously upset when he's not making his baskets, right? But he's not taking that out on himself and like beating himself up. He's still rallying the team. Even if he's not scoring, he's still rallying the team. So great leader, great captain, and shows his value.
I can't believe this. Randle in this short period of time, and we talk about Randle all the time, so we're gonna move on quickly, but to Emmanuel. But Randle, I kid you not, is having one of my favorite seasons I've ever seen a Knick have. I've been watching the Knicks since like the mid-90s. This is hands down one of my favorite seasons I've seen a Knick player have. It's better than
let me ask you something. Don't you appreciate it on a whole nother level because of how he played last season?
Listen, this story.
Right? It's like your kid that was doing really bad in school, and now he's an A student, and you've watched the turnaround, you've watched him put in the work, and now you're like so much more proud of him. Whereas if he was an A student all the time, then you're like, oh yeah, well he's an A student, so he's cool. But watching him put that effort in, make the turnaround, and now literally become one of the favorite players on the team.
Like almost like the favorite. Randle's getting his MVP chance every game.
Yep.
Don't want to bring up Porzingis, but I will say this: KP got showered with all the love and didn't earn it. Randle got the hate, right?
He went through the cycle.
He didn't take it. He didn't take it as hate. That's crazy. Most people take it as hate. He did not take it as hate, right? And obviously, listen, it was over the top. We did it sometimes. You know what it is. Mm-hmm. But didn't take it as hate. Took it as constructive criticism. Looked at himself. Looked internally. Changed his game. That's why to me, he's by far the most improved player. There's some players around the league, like Jeremiah Grant, for example, who went from like being not a big option for the Nuggets, and now he's at the Pistons scoring like 10 more points per game. So like a lot of people have him up there as most improved player. The reason I think Randle is the most improved is we see guys every year go from not playing a lot to playing a lot, and now they're scoring more. We rarely see a guy who was already a pretty good player refine everything. It's like Randle took out the stitching and restitched everything tighter. And you rarely see a guy make, like, everything he's done is just a little bit better. So I give him so much credit. Let's talk about quickly, again, big buckets, another timely guy. I know you always talk about how timely he is with his threes.
Timely and fearless and confident. So again, it didn't matter that these guys did not have a good first half. And I'm sure that Tibbs went in on them. Well, actually, I was thinking Tibbs must have gone in on them and then the third quarter was going to be better, but then the third quarter the same, right? So I don't know at what point that happened, but I do like that they kept their energy consistent because it can be a downer when you're not scoring and you're just not playing well and everything's going wrong for you. You can kind of check out, right? So I never felt at any point, and maybe that's what happened, why I felt that way. There was no point that I felt this team checked out.
Right.
Like ever. And so keeping that level, I think, that's what kept them in the game. Like their mental being not checked out of the game kept them in the game. And then we were able to start, scoring the threes and scoring the free throws, And
another guy, real quick, Taj Gibson. I love Taj Gibson. He comes in, he does his job. He was talking to RJ when he could see RJ was going through it, when RJ was getting frustrated.
Yeah.
Told him I spoke to him. He's doing the right thing. You give him the ball in offense, even though he's not a great offensive player. He just knows what to do. So he'll reposition himself, give you a screen, give somebody else the ball. I just love having guys like this on the team. He comes in tonight, 10 and 8, exactly what we needed. Noel was out tonight, so we needed someone to come in. Right. Look at that lineup. They played the whole fourth quarter. Crazy.
Listen. Taj steps up when he plays. I was watching him tonight, and I did see him doing that screen because I'm starting to learn a lot more things. So I was watching him doing the screen, and then I was noticing that he was always by the basket. Yeah. Always. Like he always had an opportunity, and there were many opportunities where they tried to like get it back in, and he was in position doing what he was supposed to do. Right. And again, a veteran guy can come in and give us a night like this. And I think also giving the guys, like you said, giving them that motivation and keeping them in check with where they need to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, right? He's a Tibbs guy from the jump. When the Bulls became a really great team 10 years ago, it was a young, he was still balling, but he was like the 24-year-old Taj Gibson was on the Tibbs team then. So for Tibbs to have that guy, have him in his locker, have him knowing he can do when he can, incredible. So listen, a really big win. I know it's frustrating how we played tonight. This is a long season. Once we're winning, it's good. I do want to talk quickly about the trade deadline. I did a video. Please look at it. The Knicks didn't.
I did from my personal account.
I mean, the people
really
appreciate it. Here's the deal, guys. So I did a video. I want you guys to watch it. I'm talking about the trade deadline. We didn't make a lot of big moves. We got Terrence Ferguson. We got Vincent Poirier, but then we cut him, so he's not going to be here. Sadly enough, Vincent Poirier plays with Frank on the French national team. And when he got traded to the Knicks, he was excited and posted a picture of him and Frank. not knowing he's going to get cut a couple of minutes later, hours later. But regardless, so not a lot of moves, right? We get 2 second-round picks. One of them may not convey, not a big thing. People are really frustrated we didn't take a big step forward.
Why?
Too cautious. Rose said it. He said it before. He said, look at what's going on the court. Look at the vibe. They're very concerned. Begley reported. They're concerned about breaking up the vibe of this team. We all know this team can make improvements. There are many positions we can improve upon. Even guys that we like, we can get better. That has to happen. That will happen. This season was not supposed to happen. All right? Don't let the fact that we're 23 and 22 distract you from the fact we're not supposed to be this good this soon. What they've done so far to get us here is incredible. We're ahead of schedule. So we don't need to rush into something we're not ready for. Let's get into the summer. Let's see how the season finishes. Then you're going to have everything to play for. Lonzo Ball did not get traded, which is very important. Him not being traded means you're going to have a real shot at him in the summer. It's not like he went somewhere he may stay. Don't freak out, right? Sometimes the best deal is no deal. The front office knows what they're doing. Let the front office mess up before you start criticizing them. That's how
the thing is true, right? The playoff run for us, we're making it regardless. So whether we're in one of the no. I don't mean we're making the playoffs. I mean we're making that playoff run regardless, right? So us, whether we even get to a play-in game or we get that eighth position, the thing is, us going out and getting a big star is not going to really change that same mentality or change us getting change us getting into the playoffs. I don't really think. I really think that the team we have right now is going to get us where we need to get to. If we got a big star, right, and so then we solidly make it into the playoffs in the eighth position, as the eighth seed, then we're probably not getting past the first round anyways.
Yep.
And I don't mean to say that to be like, oh, we're just not, but it's kind of realistic that we're not. If we make it to the playoffs, it's going to be great for the experience for the guys. But I don't think it makes any sense for us to go out there and get a big player to say, oh, he's going to help us to get to the playoffs for us to make it to the first round. Because I think the guys we have right now can do that on their own.
Exactly. And then you have more freedom in the offseason. I think it's really okay. So I know people get worried about teams sitting by idly. The Boston Celtics are a great example of this. Danny Ainge made a ton of trades a couple of years ago, had so many picks, had all this opportunity. It was like, oh my God, the Celtics got Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and all these picks. They're going to do crazy stuff with it. And 4 years later or whatever, the picks didn't really turn into anything. Kyrie's gone, Gordon Hayward's gone, and the Celtics are lower than us in the standings, though Tatum and Brown are really good. So you can't wait too long. And I don't think Rose is going to wait too long. You can't let your assets expire.
Yeah.
But on the side, you don't need to rush into it if you don't need to. This season was a foundational year. We're proving it's a foundational year. These guys are getting us this far. The vibe is good. This is the best team we've seen in 8 years. Let it finish. Let it run through. If they sit by in the summer and don't try to take a jump up, then I'd be worried because everything about the season shows you we're ready for our next step in terms of getting players. Mm-hmm. But kill them then. Kill them when they mess up. Don't start killing them now before we get to the summer. All right, guys.
I think it's all good. I think it's all good. I think the front office clearly knows what they're doing. I don't think it made any sense for us to go chasing stars. I never like doing that anyway. Let them come to us in the off season and let us not have to pay too much money. We have money anyway, right? So let it ride. We're good. We're good. We like this team too.
We're good in the hood. Peace out, y'all. See you guys next time.